Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have something truly exciting for you. Building a fully interactive sales dashboard in Excel. This tutorial covers everything you need to build an all-in-one tool for monitoring sales performance, identifying trends, and making quick, data-driven decisions with ease. First, we'll dive into creating pivot tables, the backbone of our dashboard, to help you organize and summarize your data in seconds. From there, we'll leverage pivot charts to visualize these insights, making data analysis fast, impactful, and easy to interpret. Next, we'll dive into designing the dashboard layout, where you'll learn how to structure a clear, organized framework and apply advanced formatting techniques for a polished professional appearance. But that's not all. We'll take it further by walking through how to add and format slicers, enabling users to filter data interactively and make the dashboard fully dynamic and user-friendly. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a versatile, insightful dashboard ready to deliver powerful insights and drive data-driven decisions. If you're excited to enhance your Excel skills, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more valuable tutorials. Let's jump in and bring your data to life. Before we dive into building the dashboard, let me walk you through the sales dataset we'll be working with. It has 14 columns and 1,000 rows, covering key sales metrics. The columns include the sale date, the sales representative's name, product category, quantity sold, and total sales revenue. You'll also find details about the region and country of each sale, any discounts or promotions applied, the cost of goods sold, and the profit margin. Additionally, it tracks each rep's sales targets, the sales channel, the lead source, and the customer segment for every transaction. Since our dataset is already clean with no empty or duplicate rows, we'll move ahead and format the data as a table. This ensures that the pivot tables we'll create will automatically update to include any new data added to the dataset. So to format the data as a table, we'll simply press the keyboard shortcut key Ctrl-T simultaneously. Our table has headers, and Excel has automatically detected the correct table range, so we'll simply click OK to confirm. We'll go ahead and name this table in the Table Name field under the Table Design tab. With that completed, we are now ready to create our pivot tables. So in the Table Design tab, we will click on Summarize with Pivot Table. It has correctly identified our table range, and since we want to place the pivot table on a new worksheet, we will click OK. We will now proceed to create our pivot tables and charts, which will form the foundation of our dashboard. To recap what we've done so far, we've created 6 pivot tables and charts. First, we built a pivot table and chart for sales revenue per product category. This chart displays the total sales revenue for each product category, allowing us to identify which categories are performing the best. Next, we created a pivot table and chart to track sales revenue per customer segment. This chart helps us see how different customer segments contribute to overall sales, providing valuable insights for developing targeted marketing strategies. We then went ahead to create pivot table and chart for sales revenue per sales channel, offering insights into the performance of various sales channels such as wholesale, online, and retail. After that, we created the 4th pivot table and chart to track sales revenue per discount or promotion. This allows us to monitor the effectiveness of various discounts or promotions on overall sales, offering valuable insights for optimizing future marketing campaigns. We then moved on to create the 5th pivot table and chart, which tracks sales revenue per month. This chart is essential for understanding sales trends over time, allowing us to analyze seasonality, identify peak sales periods, and monitor how revenue fluctuates month by month. Finally, we created the 6th pivot table and chart to track the number of sales per lead source. This chart helps us identify which lead sources, such as social media, referrals, or email campaigns, are driving the most sales. With that said, we will now move on to create our 7th pivot table in this tutorial. For this pivot table, we'll use a map chart to track sales revenue by geographic locations. In order to plot a map chart, we need to adjust the row labels in our pivot table so that both regions and countries are displayed in separate columns. So to do this, we'll right-click on any cell in the row label column. From the pop-up menu, we'll select Field Settings. Inside the Field Settings, we'll first set subtotals to none. Next, we'll navigate to the Layout and Print tab. Here, we'll adjust the layout to show item labels in a tabular format. Additionally, we'll check the Repeat Item Labels option and click OK. This ensures that items in the region column are repeated for cases where there are multiple countries under the same region. It's important to note that Excel doesn't allow us to create a map chart directly from a pivot table. Therefore, we'll first need to copy the pivot table and then paste it as values. This will convert the dynamic pivot data into a static table. Once that is complete, we will simply select the copied cells, navigate to the Insert tab, and choose the Map option to plot the selected data using a map chart. Next, we will link the map chart to the pivot table by updating the chart data range. To do this, we will simply right-click on the map chart and choose Select Data from the menu. Next, we'll update the chart data range to match the pivot table. With that done, we can go ahead and delete the static table as it's no longer needed. Moving on, we will go ahead and create the final 2 pivot tables and charts in this tutorial. Next, we'll go ahead and create some key metrics for our dashboard. We will go ahead and format the numbers representing our financial figures. Right now, they appear as large plain numbers without any currency symbol, which makes it harder to recognize them as financial data. So to do this, we will right-click on the cell containing the financial figure in the pivot table and choose Number Format. Next, we will choose Custom from the category list on the left. Here we will edit one of the existing codes, specifically the third one on the list, by adding a comma followed by K in quotation marks. What this will do is use K to shorten 1000 as shown. We will also place the $sign in front and then click OK to apply the changes. As demonstrated, the changes have been applied to all cells in the pivot table. Next, we'll fast forward this step to apply the changes to the other pivot tables that contain financial figures. The next thing we will do is assign distinct names to the pivot tables. So to do this, we will navigate to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, and under the Pivot Table Name section, assign a distinct name that allows us to easily identify the pivot table. This will be useful when we create slicers later, as we will need to identify the names of specific pivot tables to link those slicers to the corresponding charts. We will now fast forward this step to assign distinct names to the other pivot tables. Before proceeding to the dashboard design step, let's customize the colors to match our chosen palette for the dashboard. So to do this, we will first navigate to the Page Layout tab and select Colors. Next, we will click on Customize Colors. From there, we will click on Accent 1, then choose More Colors at the bottom. Under the Hex field, we will enter our preferred custom color code. Once completed, we will click OK to apply the changes. With this step completed, we are now ready to create and design our dashboard. So we will first create a new sheet for the dashboard. The first step in building our dashboard is designing the layout. So let's go ahead and do that. Once that's completed, we'll navigate to the Insert tab, and under Shapes, we'll select the rectangle shape. We'll proceed to apply some formatting. We'll then duplicate this shape for each of the charts and metrics we plan to include in the dashboard. Go ahead and properly align the shapes to ensure the dashboard looks clean and well organized. We'll fast forward this step to quickly align all the shapes. With that complete, we'll proceed to label the header and filter sections. Next, we will proceed to copy all the pivot charts to the dashboard sheet. With this completed, it's time to format the charts to fit nicely within each shape. Starting with the line chart, we'll first go to the Design tab and adjust the design. Next, we'll apply no fill and no borderline to both the plot area and the chart area. We'll apply this formatting to all the remaining charts as well. Moving forward, we'll proceed to copy the metrics to the dashboard as well. So first, we'll navigate to the Insert tab and select Text Box. To copy our metrics, we will reference the sheet containing the metrics, which in this case is the pivot sheet, along with the specific cell name that holds the specific metric. Excel typically references the sheet name by default when we click on the sheet, so all we need to do is add the specific cell name to complete the reference. We'll proceed to apply some formatting. With that completed, we'll similarly copy and format the other metrics. Next, we'll copy the sales target percentage we calculated for the donut chart. The sales target percentage is in cell C44 of the pivot sheet, so we'll go back to the dashboard sheet and edit the cell reference to point to that specific cell location. Similarly, we'll copy the sales target percentages for the sales representatives as well. With that completed, we'll proceed to create titles for our charts. We will go ahead and fast forward through this step. Next, we'll proceed to add icons to the dashboard to enhance its visual appeal. So to include icons in the dashboard, we will simply go to the Insert tab and click on Icons. This opens up a wide range of available icons that we can choose from, tailored to suit our specific needs. I already have the icons selected, so we'll proceed to add them to the dashboard. Also, I will include the specific icons used in this dashboard design in the data file containing the raw data. Moving on to the next step, we'll proceed to add slicers to the dashboard. Slicers will allow users to filter data interactively, providing a more intuitive and user-friendly way to explore the information presented. So, to insert slicers, we'll navigate to the Pivot Chart Analyze tab and click on Insert Slicer. Alternatively, we can also insert slicers from the Insert tab. We want to be able to filter our data by year, month, product category, region, and sales rep. So we'll go ahead and select slicers for each of those fields. Next, we'll apply some formatting. First, we want the year and month slicers to appear in 2 columns instead of 1. To do this, we'll highlight the slicer, and under the Columns section in the Slicer tab, we'll change the setting to 2. Both the year and month slicers are currently displaying items that have no corresponding data in the data set. So to fix this, we'll right-click on the slicer and select Slicer Settings from the pop-up menu. We will then select the option Hide Items with No Data and click OK. We'll go ahead and do the same for the month slicer. Next, we'll move on to creating a custom design for our slicers. We'll do this by first selecting a predefined style, duplicating it, and then applying our custom formatting to create a unique design. We'll apply this new custom design to the other slicers as well. The final step to enhance the interactivity of our slicers is to connect them to the charts. So to do this, we'll right-click on the slicer and select Report Connections. Under Report Connections, there will be a list of pivot tables, and to connect a slicer, we simply check the boxes next to the corresponding pivot tables. The final piece of this dashboard build and design is to ensure that we display the last updated date of the dataset. We will set this so it updates whenever the dataset is refreshed. So to do this, we'll first navigate to the dataset sheet. Next, we will use Lookup to retrieve the most recent date in the date column. So in an empty cell, we will type an equal sign followed by Lookup and an open parenthesis. Next, we'll specify the lookup value as the maximum value in the date column, which essentially represents the most recent date in that column. We'll go ahead and specify both the lookup array and the return array as the date column, since we want to search for a value in the date column and return the corresponding value from the same column. Next, we'll go back to the dashboard sheet and simply reference the cell containing the date, which in this case is Q2. And with that, we've reached the end of this tutorial. Thank you for joining me in this session on creating an interactive Excel dashboard. I hope you found it helpful and feel confident applying these techniques to your own projects. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great content like this. We have plenty of exciting tutorials coming up to enhance your data analysis skills and boost your productivity. See you next time.